The best way to describe LARP, when you're talking to someone that has no clue what it is, improvisational theater. Whose line it is anyway. You set a scene, you act it out. You can act it out. Because I met my wife at a LARP event. So if I didn't LARP, I would have never met the person that I married and plan to spend the rest of my life with. I've ST troop games, which are non-affiliated organizations. I've ST national events, which are worldwide. I've ST local games, which is Sabat, which is here. Camarilla. I started a Camarilla game in Peoria from ground zero, and I recently stepped down from that due to pursue more so the Sabat. So that game's still going, and I'd ST'd that for 5 years. And I've ST'd in here, Decatur off and on for probably 3 or 4. But I've ST'd a lot of stuff.
How long have I been role-playing? 12 years old. To put it in perspective, I'm 43, about 3 weeks ago. That's a long time. I've seen and played every game amount of imaginable. Ridiculous amount of games. I collect them too. So, what's great about it is games are games. They're timeless.
Watching these relationships change, my best friend Sean, like I said, he got married to someone he met in this game. I mean, they grew up like they never knew each other until they started playing. They had an experience in game that made them get closer together as characters, and then that made them get closer together as people. And then after a while, he just got up the courage to ask her out, and then they got married. I think 2 years later. So it was really neat to watch that. I mean, I've seen a bunch of people get into relationships with one another just by playing. What is drumming to be in ST? Well, pretty much it was kind of not forced upon me, but it was more of a, hey, you know, we see how you roleplay your character, we see some of the creativity that you come up with, and we were hoping that you can possibly share that with others by leading it versus portraying it.
What draws me to be an ST for live action roleplay? Well, it's vastly different from actually being a player. The draw for me is telling the story. I like the interaction to see what people do given stressful situations or comedic situations. That's actually more entertaining for me than it is to be an actual player.
I think I tried first probably when I was a teenager. Didn't do very well. Storytelling is a craft. Definitely is an art. And every medium, whatever game you use to resolve the conflict in the story you're telling, that's really the only difference. It still comes down to telling a good story, and that takes a lot of work.
Well, I really actually didn't start doing tabletop games or ST. I actually didn't ST until just recently, but didn't play tabletop games until I actually went to college. That is where I interacted with I played some Dungeons and Dragons with a group called The Alignment at Eureka College. We did a bunch of games. We played video games, but we mainly did Dungeons and Dragons. That got me really into the aspect of gaming.
So, you know, I'd say how long I've been storytelling? Probably 20 years. It's a long time. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. The people I've encountered, the stories I've told, the memories built. I mean, I know a guy that I've gamed with since I was 12. that I knew when I was 5 years old. And we still talk about stuff we did when we were teenagers because it's fond memories. I mean, so when it comes down to it, I look at those things, you know, how can you put a price to that? That it's just, you can't. So, yeah, I mean, gaming is a big part of my life. I don't think it'll ever stop. Every time I'm around a kid that wants to play Uno, I'm going to remember, hey, this is a game, this can be fun.
A lot of times, I either try to get people to laugh and have fun with it, or it needs to be like really serious and in-depth, like really deep to them personally. And when they kind of get that oh my gosh moment, that's when it's like a really good yes. You know, I did what I needed to do. I got them going, oh my gosh, what do I do? Or, you know, the panic mode. Sometimes it's good to have that, and some other times it's good to have the laugh. And it's always fun to laugh. It's healthy for you. So that's typically the type of response I try to get.
Is STing a team sport? Yes, it is. A lone ST can do his job. I've done it before. I've ST games by myself. It's tedious-some, and you're pulled in multiple different directions, so you really have to have your head on your shoulders to multitask. It definitely helps to have an ST team with you. Someone, an HST, which is a head ST, you need that guy to spearhead things, to basically throw that spaghetti chart out of things that need to be ran. And you have to have a strong AST, assistant storyteller team, to be able to pick the dice up and head out there and get the job done. Yes, a team helps a lot.
Tips or tricks I try to do typically is organization. I use Google Docs. They're really good about trying to keep people, at least multiple parties, on the same page. I normally write down what I need to do, and then I make a list when I'm at game. So like I have a plot, this is what I'm gonna do tonight, and I go to try to take care of that. If someone approaches me with, hey, I wanna do this, is that cool? I'll write it down if it needs to be handled at a later time, or so that way I can at least follow up.
My advice to someone starting off as an ST is to find an ST that's got seasons under their belt and utilize your resources that way. Do not take criticism to heart. Let it slide off, because you're not going to make everybody happy. There's always going to be that 1 or 2 to 3 people that no matter what you do, they're not going to like it. You'll never make them happy. Just how emotional can a scene be for an ST and a player? Very emotional. To the point where some people do take it a little too far. If you look back in the history, especially if you go to Paducah, Kentucky, the gentleman that did a lot of horrible things, believing he was really a vampire, obviously took it way too far. If you take it from a very atypical standpoint, emotion plays a big part of live action. You really get into your PC for the 6 hours that you're here. You feel anger, you feel sadness. It's pivotal for your PC, and you need a good storyteller to bring that out. Not everybody can be a storyteller.
I've also seen people kind of grow that hate for one another, which is not ever good. So that's why we always have to say keep it in character, because there are some times when players go and attack other players, and it's maybe not them personally doing it, but that person might feel affected by that. And so I always have to kind of comfort that person, let them know, this is a game. They're not attacking you. They're attacking your character. And after a while, they understand, or they try to, or at least I try to encourage that.
It's not a lot of people do it. There's a stigma to it that if you're a LARPer, you're crazy, or you're a nerd, you're different. That's simply it does. There are some people out there that are like that. But it is what it is, man. It's fun to do, but it's definitely not for everybody.